Hello everyone, welcome to Humble Heart Horsemanship. So this is ride number 3 for the Turkey Trot Challenge by Fox Run Farm, and today our focus was collection. So there's a lot of different beliefs and practices surrounding collection. To break it down for you guys, collection is basically shifting your horse's center of gravity from their forehand, which is the front half of their body, to their hind end, which is the back half of their body. And it's really important to teach your horse how to correctly collect, because it puts the horse in a more athletic position. It allows them to achieve more advanced maneuvers, helps them to stay more balanced. It helps you feel a lot more comfortable when you are riding them, and can also prevent soreness and other injuries in your horse. So it's really important skill for the horse to have. And we are, also understanding that the horse carries anywhere from 60 to 65% of their entire body weight on their forehand. So when you have a horse that's traveling really heavy on the forehand, it's really difficult to ride that horse, and it's difficult for the horse to travel correctly if they are heavy on the forehand. So we're going to talk more about that later, but for now we are working on our warm-up. And I'm being sure to ride Gemini going both directions, making sure that I'm not, doing the same thing that's really boring. You can create a horse that gets really arena sour if you just do the same thing every single time you go out to the arena. So it's a really good idea to work on different things, change directions often, work on a more forward walk, stop them, ask them to back up, do circles, just really keep them interested in what they are doing and really focused on you by doing different things. So I ask him to stop a few times to check his brakes, and he does a really good job with that. I was working on using more leg than just scooping and kind of trying to push with my seat. That is a tendency of mine that is kind of a bad habit, because I should be following up with more leg when he is slowing down. So I worked on keeping him really forward today at the walk and the trot. And then here we are flexing. So flexing is an excellent way to get your horse really soft and really supple. It's really important to make sure your horse understands how to flex before you work on any bending or collection. So you see me slide my hand halfway down the rein and pull it up towards my hip. And if he's not soft and giving into that rein pressure, I'm going to bump until I feel him soften up. And I like to, go from the left and the right, and sometimes ask with the left and the left again, so he's not able to, predict what rein what side I'm gonna ask him to flex with. And it really helps to also stretch out your horse and get him really flexible before you start working on anything else. And I got him really soft here after we did some flexing. He gets lots of praise. Keep in mind, it is an honor to ride a horse. They do not have to let us ride them and work with them, but they do. So it's really important to always thank your horse and praise them as much as you can, so they know that they're doing the right thing. Now, before you work on any actual collection, you really need to have a solid bend in your horse's body at a circle. So you really got to get those circles down. Circles are excellent because they will teach your horse how to, drop their head, stretch out, bend at their rib cage, and it's a really good exercise to get your horse traveling in a more collected manner by just working on a nice 20-meter circle. So here we were working on, getting his rib cage to bend and his nose to slightly tip into our 20-meter circle. He was doing a really good job with this. Also just helps your horse stretch out before you work on anything else. And then I asked him for a trot here, and I picked up the correct diagonal. Now, I say that because a lot of times when I travel counterclockwise, I pick up the incorrect diagonal. So I was trying to work on that during this ride, as well as keeping him forward, because sometimes Gemini likes to move kind of slow. And my arena goes downhill here, so he likes to speed up, and I was just half halting him with my outside rein, telling him to stay at the trot and that I didn't want him to go any faster. He was feeling quite forward, partially because I was using more leg and being a bit more assertive with how I was asking him to stay forward. And then right here, he's like, whee, let's go. I'm half halting here because I can feel him trying to speed up. But he actually stayed with me at the trot, and he didn't try to break into the canter. So he got praised for that because he was doing good. And then here we are changing directions. I change my diagonal and pick up the left diagonal because we are going clockwise now. Also important to understand that, collection is essentially getting impulsion, getting your horse to shift their weight to their hind end and push forward and really travel in a more rounded, collected shape. And so that's why we're also working on him listening to my leg and moving forward when asked. Right here, this cracked me up. You guys look at him. Woo! And crow hop. Okay, now I pulled him into a one rein stop, and I'm glad that I did. Now, I was laughing when this happened. You obviously can't hear me, but he got real excited, and he was like, woo! And I haven't had him do something like that in honestly a long time. So I was laughing at it. You gotta have a sense of humor when you're working with horses because they read every emotion you have, and it's a lot better to just laugh it off when things like that happen. So I stopped him, yielded his hindquarters, asked him to back up because backing up is hard for them, and a good way to get them to really focus on you because they have to think about what they're doing with their hind legs. And then we just moved forward and moved right along, acted like nothing really happened, did some circles to redirect his energy, asked him to back up for some more focus and consciousness. And then right here again, he got excited and he just picked up the trot. He was like, wee, let's go. And I was like, no, I did not ask that. Pulled him into a one rein stop because he did not listen to my cue to walk. And then what's interesting here is he actually started to yield his hindquarters before I even asked him to. So he was anticipating what I was going to ask. So I just sat up there super still and just waited for him to stop because I wasn't asking that. And when he did stop, right about here, I said, okay, now get your hindquarters over, please. And then I released, and I was like, I'm going to change it up here. Instead of just moving forward, we're just going to stand, and we're going to practice patience and being quiet. So here we are, just standing, and I'm like, we need to calm down. We're just going to take a few breaths here. If you go out to the arena and all you do with your horse is work them hard and go fast, they're going to anticipate the arena and also being ridden with just a lot of work and it being hard, and we don't want that for our horse. So we're just going to also take breaks and let the horse rest. Here we are resting again, and then I decided to do some more flexing. Gemini is doing a really good job with his flexing here. He basically learned flexing on the ground as a 3-year-old. I taught him, and then I started to incorporate it while I was on him, under saddle. So he's really got flexing down. He does a really good job with it. And then I had to actually run up the hill to grab my tripod and bring it closer down so you guys could see what I was doing a little bit better. And he stood still for me. He ground tied really nicely, so he got lots of praise. So we are going to do our collection now, and I'm starting off on a really big circle. Keep in mind that circle's really good to teach collection. Your horse is going to bend really nicely. They're going to start dropping their head and kind of stretching out and bending at their rib cage. So it puts them in a more natural position to collect. So as I'm going around, all that I'm doing when I'm asking him to collect is I'm squeezing both of my ring fingers and my pinky fingers, just squeezing, never pulling. And then I'm applying pressure evenly with both of my calves on my legs. So what I'm trying to do here is when I'm squeezing both of my ring fingers and my pinky finger is I'm essentially asking him to break at his poll, the spot between his ears, and to just soften and drop his head and kind of come into a more relaxed frame. And at the same time I'm doing that with my reins, I'm also squeezing both of my legs, kind of upper leg area. And this is telling him to reach from behind with his legs and really give me some impulsion and a step forward. So what's interesting is if he's leaning on my hands and he's just not softening, and I can feel him kind of rooting down into that bridle, I'm going to ask him to back up and tell him to move off of my hands, and then we're going to try again, and that's what you just saw there. It's really important to stay at the walk before, to make sure your horse has really mastered this before you move into trot and the canter. It can take years to truly teach true collection with a horse, and so this is not something that needs to be rushed through, and you're gonna do little short sessions with it. So here I am asking again, and I can feel him kind of getting heavy in my hands, so I reinforce the concept that I want him to back off and back up a few steps and not to get heavy on the forehand. So here's a really good example of him collecting in a really nice manner. I'm asking with both my ring fingers and my pinky fingers, squeezing and holding, and then using my calf muscles, and you can see him flex at his poll. He really stretches out and his hind end is pushing forward. He's really reaching and stepping up underneath himself. That was really nice, and he's getting the hang of it. Lots of praise, because this does require a lot of focus and detail for your horse to work on. Asking again here, that was a really nice release. He flexes at the pole, stretches out, he's pushing forward. I can feel in my seat too that he's really rounding his frame, and I can feel his back lifting up underneath himself, and he's traveling a lot more balanced. Give him a break here because collection is hard work for them. And then I let him have a nice walk around with a loose rein, but we're not really focusing on anything. It's his time just to kind of relax. Bring him into trot, and I'm doing sitting trot because I really want to be able to absorb and feel what my horse's body is doing on their back. It's a little bit easier than if you're doing posting trot, and he was doing so well. And I wasn't asking him a ton here. It's just when I felt him kind of come out of that frame where he wasn't collected and I didn't feel him pushing from the hind end, I would ask. So like here I was asking, that was really nice. Right there, ask again. He gave me a really beautiful softening. And I'm focusing on keeping my posture tall too, because if you are unbalanced, your horse will be unbalanced and they will be unable to collect. So it's really important that you are looking where you want to go, sitting up tall, keeping your heels down, absorbing the horse's movement. He's got really lovely, very floaty, balanced trot. And I was so excited, you guys. This was probably the best time I've ever seen him do this collection work, where he was really staying in it and really focusing in on me. And look at that, you guys. Look how beautiful that is. It felt so nice to ride to. I was so excited. And keep in mind, collection is not only something that you can see from the ground, but you're going to feel it. You're going to feel your horse's back lifting up, being able to support your weight, traveling in a more athletic position, traveling balanced, traveling better. It's all of those things, and it does come from a lot of feel. So I bring him back down to walk. I'm so excited. Give him a loose rein, and I tell him, hey, we're just going to take a little break and let you rest, because that was excellent. Lots of praise. He's so cute. You guys, look at him. And then we change directions. Here I am asking again. And there he did a little tiny softening. Now, you don't need always huge results. You gotta reward your horse for every try. They're learning something new. Collection is not easy, especially if you're teaching it to a horse that does not have a lot of experience with being collected. And once again, he got a little heavy here in my hands. He wasn't softening, so I asked him to back up to reinforce the fact that I need him to soften. And then I said, okay, let's go forward and try it again. Right there, he gave me a really nice moment. Right there again, that was super nice. You can see it too. That was super nice. Lots of praise. Here we are moving into the trot. Now this is the direction that we both do not travel as well going in this direction, but you gotta travel going both ways. That's really pretty too. Asking for walk, lots of praise. And I decided to end my ride right there. Now we only worked on collection for like maybe 8 minutes or so, but I wanted to end on a good note. You never want to drill your horse again and again and again. You want to end on that good note so it's fresh in their mind. Give them lots of praise and end it there. I was so happy, you guys. I was so excited because that was the best session with him, and I was like, woohoo! Look how happy I am. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you're interested in learning more about Fox Run Farm events, they host some really fun challenges. You can check out both their site and their Facebook page in the description box below. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!